Hi Pisces, and this is a general reading that could benefit any sun, moon, or rising Pisces sign. And so hopefully something will resonate here with you, but we can look to the cards to get a sense of the energies and insights and messages from Divine Source or the universe for Pisces. Okay, so awareness of the week is, we have the Five of Swords. And with this Five of Swords, we see this guy looking back at two other figures. He's holding swords. He has some swords here on the ground. This is a card of sometimes in conflict and in discussions and in arguments and what have you. There's a clear winner. And there's someone who is, sometimes people are very motivated to come out on top and to, quote unquote, win the argument or to show what they know. And often this can happen at the expense of their friends, and it can be hurtful, it can be hurting your feelings. So arguments and conflict, and if you look within this card, there really are three perspectives. There's this smug person who's come out on top. It's meant a lot to him. He's going to walk away carrying the swords. There's someone who may have just dropped the sword to say, to hell with it. I'm not going to bother with this. It's not worth it to me to lose a friendship. And then there's someone here with their head in their hands who may feel humiliated or may feel in shame because of the consequences or the results of what happened. So awareness for the week is to be mindful of conflicts and how much is it worth to you? Is it worth having to win an argument but really possibly losing a friendship? Or is it something you could say, this isn't worth it to me, I'm walking away, I'm going to save my sanity for the week? So conflict, arguments, a real sense of winning, losing, maybe somebody who's kind of being not so cool. Then we have the lovely Ace of Pentacles. And so this brings the awareness into focus on abundance and prosperity and good relationships and good health. And so with aces, it's a gift or blessing from the universe. You can see here's the hand handing you the big pentacle. And here's the portal to happiness, to good luck, to comfort, and again, abundance. However you define abundance, the thing to think about is that it's not a given. You have to do the work. You have to perhaps show some of the qualities of the pentacle suit, which is to be planning, to be thinking through things on a practical or grounded level or from approach. Pragmatic, how am I going to help myself be in a more comfortable position? So maybe that's looking at additional ways to make money, improving your skill set, networking, but you're watering the plant, and it's the plant of your plan and nurturing and working that plan in order to get into a position of abundance. And so, the Ace of Pentacles is the promise and the potential of good health, good happiness, spiritually abundant, if you do your part. Take advantage of the energy to want to focus on your resources. So now in terms of guidance. Okay, so we have the Judgment card, Major Arcana. So the Judgment card, we see the gray figures here rising up out of the coffins, and the angel is blowing the horn, making the call. These people hear the call, and this call is to awaken. It's to say, I'm ready for a second chance. I'm ready to be reborn. I'm ready to cleanse my spirit, forgive my past, and allow allow myself to build and create the future. So with judgment, you really are judging your own life, your own actions. This is a week for you to think about what's gone before and to really let it go. Think of a cleansing bath where you're going to clean the slate. You have an opportunity to reach your highest self, which is you have to find what's in your heart and match it to your purpose, finding your true purpose, being your best self. It's never too late to do this. It's never too late to feel like you can be reborn. And that's what these people are. They're saying, if I felt dead in my life, then I need to feel alive. I need to do what I need to do to feel alive and to feel purposeful and to find happiness and spiritual happiness. So with this judgment card here, we have an interesting, in terms of guidance, Major Arcana, the Hermit, which is telling you straight out to take time away from chaos or busy situations for you to focus on yourself, to think about what's going on in your life, to shine this lantern within. You're doing your own introspective work. You're reflecting, you're meditating, you might be journaling, you may be talking to someone that you truly trust just to get a handle on things, just to be able to talk about perhaps this feeling that you have that you need to change and perhaps find your true purpose, or to move away from feeling the quote-unquote deadness of life, if you feel that way. And let me just say, you could be wildly happy in everything and still feel that you need to find your call, to listen to the call, to find your true purpose, to become your highest self. It may take you in a different path. So the Hermit is, make time for yourself to do reflection, to think about what's going on. Then you're much wiser on how you're going to move forward. In possible outcomes for the week, we have the King of Swords. So this King of Swords, he's looking straight at us, resolute, very focused, holding the sword vertically there. There's a strong sense here of, again, I would say judgment, of legal authority here. The King of Swords is the king of intelligence, of smart thinking, of analytical thinking, logical thinking. We often think of a King of Swords could be an attorney, a judge, someone who's going to weigh the evidence, someone who's going to look at the facts and make a ruling, someone who is able to see things clearly and communicate clearly and really doesn't have time for the nonsense or for extraneous or BS material or things that get into our little mix of life. So the King of Swords could be telling you to be very clear, know what you're going to be moving toward, know exactly the facts. If there are problems, use your smarts to problem solve. But this sword is very powerful and can be used to be decisive, to make these decisions about what you want to do, and to come from a place of being informed. So if you're informed and if you know what you're getting yourself into, if you change careers, if you change a relationship, you have knowledge behind you. You have this base from which to be truthful, to show integrity, to be honest. And then finally, as a possible outcome, it's the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is always an interesting card. We see he's a wounded warrior, almost like he's on guard. He's looking over his shoulder as if he's going to say, what's next? What's next? I still have some reserve in the tank, and I'm going to do what I need to do to protect myself, to defend myself. And so this is regardless of, you may be feeling beaten down, you may be feeling exhausted or stressed out. you're very close to this end of a cycle. And this Nine of Wands is that it's telling you have the perseverance, the grit, the tenacity to hang in there and to finish it off. And yes, you may be tired, you may feel all those things, but you really do have the willpower to see it through. Others may lay down that wand and walk away. In this case, you're going to battle through, you're going to be looking for what's next, you're going to be ready for it, and ultimately you should find your reward by reaching it to the end. This is a card of courage. It's a card of being aware. He's looking off in this direction. He probably really knows what's coming. So how does this apply? It's a matter for you that there may be an instance where you have to talk to yourself and keep yourself in the game instead of, laying down that wand, to be aware of what may be coming and to deal with whatever it is and to keep your grit, for the week. So interesting cards. Let's go ahead and see the messages that we have for. So this I would call like the affirmation for the week. The Fire Prince, optimism and aggression. So it's really a case here of, with fire and with fire energy, optimism, drive, ambition, moving it out there, making things happen, taking charge. By the same token, the shadow side can be being overly demanding perhaps, or dominating. The aggression is of being very forceful in what you want. There's a fine line in how to interact with others. But I like the optimism, because the optimism really is within this Ace of Pentacles and Judgment card, and the Hermit to a degree, which is the inner self of getting to your own truth, your own enlightenment. And finally, I'm going to choose a card, I'm going to choose a card for Spirit or Emotional Self. Support. People come into your life for many different reasons. Some you learn from, and then they move on, while others return often because you need to learn more from those individuals. Others remain beside you throughout your entire life. So in moments of perseverance and grit, you may require support. You may require someone to change the bandage on your head. You may need support in terms of the wiser people that you may know can certainly shed light on your dreams or your desires or the things that you are hoping to change. And finally, let's choose a card for love. Loyalty. Your reliability demonstrates your loving sense of devotion and consistency of being. So loyalty, reliability, loving sense of devotion, and consistency. I think consistency is it's an important word, because to be consistent in how you show love or your actions, that's truly rewarding for partnerships, friendships. When people get really different high and low kind of responses from others, it can be off-putting, but consistently showing how you feel for someone, how you care for them, I think is truly really important. This is what I have for you for the week. I hope that you found something helpful here with this reading. If you did, please subscribe, like, share, or comment. I'd love to hear from you. And I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.